Papa, it's my favorite. Sir.
PG and his executive, the youth corpers, you're welcome to Dein Royal Palace.
So long, Your Majesty.
Before we commence, I would like Uche to introduce his colleagues. You do the introduction like this. You will mention your name, the state you come from, the course you are reading or you read now, and the President Martins will tell His Majesty and the Chief Council the purpose and the aim why they are here.
Yes, sir. Alternatively, if you cannot remember everybody's name and course, just take it one by one. Just introduce yourself, state you come from, course you read. Okay? I think that would be easier for you, maybe. Okay. So starting with yourself.
Greet first.
Okay, good evening.
Yes, sir.
My name is Jose Martins from River State. I read environmental studies and geography.
Also, let me know how old you are as well.
I am 27 years old. With me here is
Good day, Block.
Yes, sir.
My name is Lawrence Uche from Abia State. I studied English and Literature. I am 26 years.
My name is Queenet Omida. I'm from Edo State. I read accounting. I'm 23 years old.
my name.
Alternatively, if it's just easier for you, Your Majesty.
Okay, Your Majesty. My name is Edidio Nde, a graduate of Political Science and Public Administration from Akwa Ibom State. I'm 29 years of age.
Your Majesty, my name is Adikoya Olamide. I'm from Lagos State. I studied industrial mathematics.
Before, hold on.
I'm 21 years old.
Pass it to the back so it doesn't have to come back again to here. Pass it to this gentleman.
Your Majesty, I'm Wilfred Malakai from Enugu State. Studied biology education. I'm 26 years old. Thank you.
Your Majesty, my name is Odiyo Oluwatobi. I studied banking and finance. I'm from Lagos State and I'm 24 years.
May you live long, Your Majesty. My name is Comrade Magaji Tingo from Kaduna State, a graduate of Social Studies Education from Ahmadu Bello University. Thank you. 29 years.
Good day, Your Majesty. My name is Afro Maize. I'm from Anambra State. I studied industrial technical education. I'm 27 years old.
Good day, My Majesty. My name is Tommorows Jessica. I graduated from Nysc Polytechnic, Nysc. I study accountancy. I'm from Edo State. I'm 27 years old.
Good day, Your Majesty. My name is Oyekololai Peter. I'm from Ondo State. I graduated from the Department of Crop Soil and Pest Management from the Federal University of Technology, Akure. I'm 23 years old.
Your Majesty, sir. My name is Isa Muhammad Al-Bakri. I graduated from Cross State Polytechnic, my DCP in Public Administration. I'm 26 years old.
Good day, Your Majesty. My name is Mohammed Suleiman Hussein. I'm from Edo State. I read chemistry and I'm 27 years old, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dein, may you live long. I'm Shindara Ololade by name, from Osun State, by marriage from Delta. I studied English education from OAU, Ile-Ife.
Dein, Nitonefe. I'm Uwadia Sonia. I'm from Delta State, Agbor precisely. I studied mass communication from Delta State Polytechnic, Ogwashuku. I'm 29 years old.
May you live long, Your Majesty. My name is Ichibo Joyce Enrichi from Rivers State. I studied educational psychology from the University of Port Harcourt and I'm 26 years old.
Good day, Your Majesty. My name is Eluji Ifeanyi Peace. I studied computer science. I graduated from Auchi Polytechnic. I'm from Delta State.
Your age?
I'm 29 years old.
May you live long, Your Highness. My name is Njokome Jennifer. I graduated from Federal Polytechnic, Nekede Owerri. I studied mass communication. I'm from Abia State and I'm 24 years old.
That's all right. So if you bring it back to the head of the delegation so that they can at least let me know exactly what they're here for.
Good day, may you live long.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I will tender apology for the last time we visited the palace. We varied the protocols by coming late. I'm very much sorry for that. Also, I appreciate you for honoring our invitation, not leaving us behind when we invited you for a peace competition organized by our group in a capsule. I was held in a National Hall. You sent your delegates to represent you. Were really a morale boost to the core members in the council and the children that visited and even the parents that came to witness that peace competition. Thank you very much, Your Majesty. In line with our aim to making part in CASAT wide in this 1 year compulsory service, as the group, Educational Development Group, it's our objective to ensure that children are imparted in education, in their morals, and totality of the children in CASAT. So we have also plans to reach out more in terms of peace competition. Most importantly, the one we have as the front plan is a market sensitization to reach out to these men and women in the markets who are parents to the children, who is the primary target of this group, to sensitize them on how they should strive and see that the children have basic education, minimum of secondary. No matter how the economy of Nigeria is fighting, you should strive and see that their wards and children have basic education by paying up their bills and ensuring that they pay their bills on time. So we are targeting the markets where we have large crowds. Let the women and men in the market understand the importance of education. Why is necessary that the children have this education? So we are targeting this program this time to be within on Wednesday, or time Wednesday, to go to the market around the vicinity to sensitize them. Because the turnout we had in our last outreach, the police competition, was enormous. So we want to encourage them also to look out for these ones who are left behind, these ones who sit on the streets, and these ones who are left to do one or two things at home, that they need education. And the parents are obligated to do so. So I'm also in organizing another police competition that will incorporate more schools. The last time we have 20 schools, so we want to get more schools and more children involved and to encourage them, as you observe that one of the problems of weakness in studying is excellence not rewarded adequately. If these students, if they can come up for this competition and they perform and they are rewarded adequately, I think they will do more.
Just one moment. Please, those of you who are using your phones, I'm very, very uncomfortable with the fact that there are people that are in front of you standing while we're tapping away on our phones. I don't want to have to say more than that. If you're on your phone and somebody is talking, it means that you obviously cannot be listening very well to them, and it's actually quite rude. Thank you very much.
So we are also going to sensitize the women on choosing a career for their children and girls, and also child marriage, to disabuse the mind on seeing that this child is, I think you're up to age and I can marry, I'm tired, I don't have the resources to cater education now, to get this mentality away from parents. So they will see education as really the key to society, that it's as important as life to any child that is born in a caste house. So that is the main reason why we have to come, so that we will seek support also from the panels you've supported it initially. Also know that more support will come from you. Thank you, Your Majesty.
Well, thank you very, very much for intimating me about these issues. I don't intend to keep your group waiting for too long. This is a subsection of the youth corpus here in Agbor. First and foremost, thank you very much for apologizing for the last outing, but I think you've more than made up for it for the fact that you are here on time today. So it's actually me to apologize to you this time, because you were here on time. We actually had a meeting that overlapped. So because of that meeting is why you had to wait small before I was able to see you. Thank you for improving from the last time that you were here. Thank you for improving from the last time that you were here, because obviously I complained about your uniform and some other issues, and I can see that you have made an effort to improve on that last visit. I appreciate that. What it means is that you're listening. What it means is that you're productive in life. You want to make yourselves better at each and every juncture. Nobody is perfect. Failure is actually part of success. Without failure, you will never know what you need to improve on. We all fail in one way or another, because none of us is Christ, none of us is God, so we are not perfect. Have you sorted out the microphone?
Yeah.
So, we live life day by day. As young people, thank you very, very much for the efforts that you're making with this educational drive. Of course, our younger ones, it will somehow be easier for them to relate with you as younger people. So this drive is extremely important. Thank you for having dedicated this 1 year of your life to the nation, and you will continue to get the support where I can give it to you. But I want to leave you today considering a very real problem that we have. Something that you all need to think about. That we as a people, we as a nation, need to think about. We have distress in our land. There is distress in Nigeria at the moment. There's a great deal of violence in Nigeria at the moment. And we need to decide as a nation and as a people if this is really the way that we want to go. Let me ask, how many Muslims are here at the moment? Please put up your hands. Just two. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you had a very, very good Ramadan.
Yes, sir.
We thank God. The rest of you, I'm assuming, are Christians and traditionalists. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Is any of you interested in having a civil war in this country? I need more vibrancy than that. Is any of you interested in dying within the next 1 to 2, 3 years? Okay. Are any of you interested in having any of your family members killed or dying in any type of civil war in this country? We have a very real situation that seems to be brewing. And the people who are going to bear the brunt of it is our generation. The two Muslim people here, is Islam not a religion of peace?
Yes, sir.
I grew up in England. Growing up in England, I didn't know a lot about Islam. It was not until I came back to Nigeria that I learned about Islam, because I happen to be from a country that is more or less 50-50 Christian and Islam. I learned the most I understand about Islam from the former Emir of Kano, Agbor, who I used to call Abu Bayero. He was one of the most humble men I've ever met in my life. A great man, full of humility. And I often used to wonder to myself, how can you be so powerful and yet so humble at the same time? And after being here for some years, I started to realize that Islam was a very beautiful religion. I started to realize that the Muslims that I was meeting, they can be extremely rich, but you will not know. Because the typical Muslim man or woman, wealth does not mean that they are extravagant. A Muslim can be very, very rich and still be in the bush with his cows. You will see some of these young men herding cows. You will be so surprised at how wealthy they are because of the number of cows that they actually own. Whereas we as Christians, when we're wealthy, oh my God, you can see that we're wealthy. We have the cars to show, we have the houses that we don't live in. Even now, our pastors have private jets. But something is going very, very wrong in the country right now. To the point where two religions that profess to both be following God, I don't know if we now believe that there are two different gods. Because the Muslims recognize that God of the Muslims is the same God of the Christians, and the Christians vice versa. I still intend to continue to learn more about Islam, because if you are a Christian, before you can criticize anybody, make sure you understand that person, and vice versa if you're a Muslim. We have a decision to make in this country. Do we want this country to work, or do we not want this country to work? We cannot allow our leaders and our elders to spill the blood of the youth. There has to become a point where you say no. I went to school with this man. I might be from the north, and he might be from Yoruba. But we went to school together. We struggled together. We ate together. We laughed together. God forbid, I almost dated the same girl he dated. Why would I now decide that I want to kill him? For what reason? There's nowhere that the Quran or the Bible tells you to go and kill an innocent person. There's nowhere. So anybody telling you that they're doing that in the name of religion, that is not proper. I don't know any religion that professes going to blow up the church or kill innocent people. I'm saying this to you because it's you young hands that, God forbid, will carry the guns and the bombs to go and do all types of atrocities against your brothers and your sisters. And you have to make a decision that that's not the future that you want for yourselves. You have to make that decision. And it's a decision that you're going to have to make very soon. There are a type of rumors that we're hearing all over the place that are not very palatable for any human being. The Bible tells you that the end of times is when you hear of wars and rumors of wars. If we don't want to be very honest with ourselves, we're living in those times now. I personally believe that a lot of our world leaders are failing us. If I have an opportunity to lead my people of Agbor to war, and I also have the opportunity to lead them to peace, and I choose war, I am a devil. Why would I choose war over peace? I will not be forgiven by God if I had the opportunity to go to peace with somebody, but because of my own personal pride, because of my own personal anger, I decided that I would allow these chiefs to give me their children to kill in a war. That's the height of wickedness. Understand, God forbid, if we get into a civil war in this country, another civil war, most of us will not survive it. Some of you will never have the opportunity to have children. The country will not be better for it, the country will die. You need to start demanding more than what you're demanding in your lives. You need to stop the sycophancy that runs this country. Sycophancy runs this country. We worship money too much in this country. That is our God. Money, wealth, power. How many of you here, if a politician were to come in here now and share 10 million for you, how many of you here, after taking your share of the 10 million, will be able to say to the politician, please, sir, thank you very much for this money, but our houses at our youth corpers can't. The roofs are leaking. We don't have food. We're living in very bad situations. How many of you would be able to say that? Hardly any. Because your neighbor, your friend will say, ah, my friend, will you keep quiet? The man don't share money for us, we won't talk about it. But you're the only one that will suffer. You're the only one that will suffer. How did we get from a great Nigeria that some of our fathers and grandfathers fought for and enjoyed. How did we get from a Nigeria of 1 naira to $1 to a Nigeria where we're now talking about 360 naira to just $1? Is that really what we want to say that we're proud Nigerians for? Nigerians are some of the most hardworking people I've ever come across. Majority of you are psychopaths. I'm not going to take that away from you. We are psychopaths in this country. We don't know how to tell the truth to our brothers and sisters. We're ready to tell somebody else what you're doing is wrong. But as long as the person that's doing wrong is my brother or is from my community, I won't tell him that what he's doing is wrong. In that sense, I'm very happy I didn't grow up here. Because it's because I didn't grow up here that I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have. Wrong is wrong, right is right. It's your generation that will either save or break this country. You need to have some very serious conversations amongst yourselves. And this new corpus, it is something that envelopes the entire country. So it makes a very good basis upon which you can talk for peace. I think more than anything that we're doing right now, the youth corpus, you need to organize yourself and start having some internal conversations with yourself for the peace and continued stability of this country. If Mr. President can't do it, then we have to be willing to help him do it. We have to be willing to help him do it. We are in a very delicate stage of our nationhood, and it can go either which way. I personally believe that together we are stronger. I personally believe that. Before we go to war, God forbid, let's split the country now. We can do this thing peacefully. We don't have to shed blood over it. Oh, Israel, everybody to your tent. If that's the way that we want to go, I personally don't agree with that, because I personally believe that through great effort, God put together an incredible nation. Our greatness is in our diversity. A garden of many different flowers will always look more beautiful than a garden that just has one type of flower. We are a beautiful nation of different cultures, of different people. I personally would like to keep it like that. I saw a call by the Yoruba youths asking all Muslims to leave Yoruba land. I would rather see the Yoruba youths, I would rather see the Igbo youths come together and say, let's have a dialogue. If our elders don't want the dialogue, is there anything stopping you guys from having the dialogue? Why not bring yourselves together and talk about how we want this country to look like? We don't have to follow in the footsteps of our elders if we know that our elders have made mistakes. You're not meant to follow mistakes. There's a very, very real danger at this present moment in time, more than there has ever been before. And nobody here will be spared once the guns start going off. We need to really think about where we are right now. all of you who have brothers and sisters in the security agencies, brothers and sisters who are politicians, you need to talk to them and say, I'm afraid. Kidnapping in this country is too much. We're afraid. The killing in this country is too much. We are afraid. Brother, if there's anything that you can do, what we're looking for is peace. We don't want confrontation anymore. Confrontation is not sweet. What is sweet is to build. Destroying is not sweet. To destroy is extremely easy. There was once a beautiful country called Libya. It's no more. There was once a beautiful country called Iraq. It's no more. I was once in London. I took a cab somewhere, and the cab driver happened to be from Iraq. And I spent that hour in the cab with him as he told me how many businesses he used to have in Iraq, as he told me how beautiful Iraq used to be, and as he lamented everything that he had lost since the war in Iraq. War is very, very destructive on any people. Very, very destructive. So you young men and women that are here today, I challenge you. Start changing the way you do things and the way you think. Nigeria is not going to magically turn around. It takes the hard work and the will of the people to move a nation forward. The same oil that we have here is the same oil that they have in Dubai. Any of you given the opportunity, where would you like to go to holiday? Dubai or Nigeria? That is just the truth. What stops us from having our own Dubai? Is it to say that we don't have the land? Is it to say that we don't have the resources? It's not. It's what we've decided to do with that land and that resource. Gold is of no value. Oil is of no value. Diamonds are of no value if you don't have human beings that put the value upon it. It's we by our hands that decide to make something valuable or not. A commodity becomes needed when the men and women in a place need it. I can guarantee you now, if you're dying of hunger and somebody gives you the choice to have 10 million naira or have water, I can guarantee you will take the water, knowing very full well you cannot drink that 10 million naira. And you can have that 10 million naira in the box that you're in and you will die. Or you have the water and you survive. I look online and I'm very sad with the interaction between Nigerians. The way we talk to each other, the way we abuse each other. I've never seen it in any other nation. One of you will have an opinion. 5 of you will turn on that person as if, I don't know. Is there anything wrong with saying, my brother, not be like that? I don't agree with you. Must it be, you're a devil, you're a fool, you're an idiot? Why must it be like that? And then once you have spoken that way, how do you expect to be spoken back to? Does that now create a conducive environment to solve the problem? So you've now gone from solving the problem to now creating more problems the initial problem has now been left behind. I don't want Nigeria to split. I think we can do so much more together than apart. Sudan has split. I don't see what has come out of it. If Nigeria splits, there's a saying, you know, the problems that you have today, if you go to England, the problems will still follow you. The problem isn't your outside environment, the problem is you. Make of life what you will. We're here for a time and then we will go. Whether this goes into one ear and comes out of the other, that's people's business. Or the savior of Nigeria could come from one of this group of people that's here right now. You will never know until you make the effort. My Muslim brothers, we want peace. We don't want war. Take it back to your people. We want peace. Your people are our people. Your people are our people. The world has destroyed itself enough with war. War benefits a very, very few people. It destroys the majority. Seriously consider what I'm saying and think about what I'm saying today. The country is in bad shape. We cannot continue to be a consuming nation and we're not producing anything. And we think that things will be better for us. We need to start being productive as a nation. And there is, as I said, very few people that I've met like Nigerians that are hardworking. I know within me, if Nigerians have electricity, if Nigeria have good roads, if we have good schools, if we have good medical centers, this would be one of the most successful and pleasurable countries to live in the world. If you go to the Riverine area, we're looking at those areas as swamps. What the hell do you think Florida is? Florida is one big swamp. But yet still, that's where Disneyland is. I'm sure many of you heard a few years ago at Disneyland, a child was killed at Disneyland. Do you know how the child was killed? Alligator. Do you know why the alligator was there? Because Florida is a swamp. It's where alligators live. But that's also where Disneyland is. Some of the most expensive properties that you can find in America, do you know where they are? Waterline, near the water. Yet still, the other day I went down to the Riverine area, and all I'm looking at is the most beautiful white sands, the most beautiful lakes. If it's in America, all of those lakes will have the most expensive properties all along there. Yet still, we have this type of tourist attraction, and nobody wants to come to Nigeria for tourism because nobody wants to come here and be kidnapped. Nobody wants to come here and there's no electricity. Nobody wants to bring their children here and maybe your child becomes sick and there is no hospital to take your child to. We are all responsible. Because you would rather vote somebody into power who has a sweet mouth and a small naira to dash you for your vote, rather than to look at the caliber and the character of the person to vote for. You are your own worst enemies. You are your own worst enemies. Then when one of us does stand up to talk the truth, when he's attacked, the rest of you look the other way. And that's the only reason why he can be attacked, because the rest of you are looking the other way. When somebody stands up to talk for the truth, all of you stand up with him or her. That's the only way that we're going to move this country forward. All of you that have put in all of this time to study and read, where are the jobs? Where do you hope to be employed? Or is it everybody here that has an organ that will send your name? Those of you who don't have organ in your family, what will you do for work? But of course, if we had electricity, if we had good roads, and you people, you'll find your way now. The typical Nigerian without education is still a very smart human being. The typical Lagos boy, give him electricity for 1 month. The amount of businesses that he will build on his own, even if it's just having 5 barbershops, is something. Because everybody needs their hair to be done and look good. Understand something. Government officials are your representatives. Maybe some of you need to go and look at what the word representative means. It means as if they're doing anything that you haven't asked them to do is actually illegal. It's actually illegal. You cannot be representing somebody and doing things that they're not aware of. Then you're not representing them. We need to grow up as a nation. We need to grow up as a nation, ladies and gentlemen. Unity is strength. Do not allow people to divide you. The same heaven and hell the Christians are going to, the same heaven and hell and the Muslims are going to. There are not various gods. There is one true God. We have different ways with which to reach God. Respect your lane and respect other people's lane. That is their choice. Respect their choices. Not everybody here can be an accountant. Not everybody here can be a mathematician. If that's how the world worked, the world would not work. You need different caliber of people for different jobs. Not everybody can be rich. But the whole point is that those of us who are rich, we are meant to look out for the poor. God does not give you riches for yourself. If God has given you riches and you have decided to use them for yourself and not to better those around you and better the life of other human beings, you will end up in hell. I guarantee it. Change your perspective on life, or that life will be taken from you. We are no longer the giant of Africa, unless of course we are the giant mess of Africa. I know people who are dying to get out of Nigeria now. In fact, the majority of people that I know, they're doing everything that they can to send their children out. They're doing everything that they can to emigrate. That's not a good sign. My family are abroad at the moment. Why do I want my family abroad? I would much rather my wife and my children are here with me. But I cannot bring my wife and children to a country that doesn't have electricity, that doesn't have security, where people are being kidnapped up and down. Look at how America is treating Nigeria now. all of the visa requirements have been changed for Nigeria. Whereas in the same period of time, as we have been downgraded, Ghana now have free visa to go to America. Why is that? Because we have decided to rubbish ourselves, while Ghanaians have decided to better their lot. You can have revolution without violence. Revolution can be a good thing of the mind, of understanding. If we go from a nation that doesn't have electricity and within a year we work hard with each other and now the country has the electricity, that was a revolution. We get stuck and fixated on words. We get stuck and fixated on words. I pray for us very fervently that we don't see another civil war in this country.
Amen.
There's some people who are alive here that witnessed that thing. I hope to never ever witness a civil war. Watching it on TV and seeing some countries go through it is bad enough for me. I can't imagine being a child in Libya right now. I can't imagine being a child in Iraq or Afghanistan right now. I don't even want to imagine it. And that's not what I want for Nigeria. I think Nigeria is too great. I think Nigeria is filled with too much promise. To shamefully allow ourselves to be hoodwinked into destroying our own prosperity. My Christian brothers and sisters, go home and have a proper conversation with yourselves. We need to stop the violence. We need to stop the hatred. Enough is enough. Let us move together to create a beautiful nation. That's what we want. That's what we all desire. If the federal government gives us electricity, I guarantee that within 3 years, they will make more money from taxes than they can ever make from oil in their lifetime. But if we don't have electricity, there's not a single person that will want to pay their taxes. Because exactly what are you paying your taxes for? If there's no electricity, there's no good road, there's no... Where is the tax money going to? Why would anybody want to pay tax? And then of course we're not talking the facts. It is a fraud if the nation is paying tax and we are not being provided the amenities of life. It is a fraud. It is illegal. You cannot be paying taxes and you are not getting the benefit of those taxes that you are paying. I would say, all of you would be too scared to say it. The world is in a mess. The world is in a mess. Nobody's coming to our aid. Understand this. We're on our own. The US has their own problems. The United Kingdom have their own problems. Europe have their own problems. Of course, they do not understand that if Nigeria disintegrates, their problems will be increased sevenfold. Nigeria's population, if we go into any type of civil unrest, will affect the entire West Africa and beyond. So it really is a problem that people need to think about. But the worst affected and the worst hit will be us here in the present day Nigeria. So you coppers, go home from here go back to your camp. Let this conversation be the conversation that you have first. We need to prevent anything like rumors that we are hearing of possible beating of the drums of war. We don't want that. We don't want that. We must be fair with one another. We must be fair with one another. Our elders, the anger is too much. Yes, you Northerners, I know you believe that the Southerners have not done well by you. But equally, the Southerners also feel that the Northerners have not done well by them. Where do we stop? You're bad, I'm bad. Okay. How do we now dialogue so that we can stop being bad and we can start being good? I'm not calling for all this, there's sovereign, national, congress, all those ones are big name, big talk, I don't know. It takes a gentle, simple discussion between brothers and sisters. What is the greatest law that God has given us? Do you know what it is? Do unto others as you have others do unto you. You know what you don't like, and you know what you like. Don't do to somebody what you know you would not like done to yourself. And this would be a perfect world. This would be a perfect world. So please go and have this conversation with yourselves tonight. Tonight, go and have this conversation with yourselves. Call your brothers across this nation. Tell them that this conversation is apt. It is very important right now, right this moment. What we want is peace and the environment of peace for us to develop. You cannot develop without peace. Go and look in any war-torn country. There's no development. Is that what you want? Or do you want development? Well, it is up to you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, and I do pray for the stability and peace of Nigeria and for the unity of Nigeria, and that our leaders will not lead us into temptation, will not lead us to the brink of war, will not continue to lead us into hatred, but will consider the children yet unborn and the children of the future of not just Nigeria and Africa, but the entire world. The world is certainly headed in the wrong direction. Well, once again, I wish you the best. Thank you for coming on time. Thank you for wearing good, clean uniforms, showing that you are proud of your service to the nation, although, of course, unfortunately, the nation is not quite serving you yet. But thank you for serving the nation. Continue to serve the nation, and by God's grace, one of these days, we will have the right people in the right positions to make the nation profitable enough, developed enough, that all of us will gain service from it. God bless all of you. Thank you very
Back over.
May you live long, Your Majesty.
Thank you very much.
My name is Isa Muhammad Agbor from Kwara State. Actually, it's not a question, but it's just like a contribution to what you just said, sir. Now, currently, I'm the FCLO of ICASA Tanons, which is a Muslim corporate liaison officer. When I assumed the office, I had this impression, my target, that is my priority, is to meet your fathers. But when I discussed with my executives and the members, we have the impression that coming to here, there will be this kind of disparities when it comes to religion. But your comment made me to understand that there is nothing like that when it comes to visiting your office and have a courtesy and conversation with you. I really appreciate your comments. May Almighty Allah, may the peace and tranquility of this month be upon you, be upon nation, and be upon Nigeria as well. Thank you very much, sir. I will meet the organizers and probably will visit your office, sir. Thank you, sir.
With what you've just said, definitely you have your comment. Like I've said to you before, one in life has to look at his environment. We live in a country that is partly Muslim, partly Christian. You are not a good Christian if you don't understand Islam. And you are not a good Muslim if you do not understand Christianity. Jesus is in the Bible. Jesus is in the Quran. The Quran says, do good unto your brothers. The Bible says, do good unto your brothers. Islam is a beautiful religion. Christianity is a beautiful religion, but only when they are observed properly. We give our own interpretations that are not there in the Bible and are not there in the Quran. This is where we have problems coming from. And before we start talking about religion, understand that religion came about a long time after we came on this earth. Nobody will tell me that Agbor kingdom, which is over 2,000 years old, Agbor people were not going to heaven because Christianity was not alive then. Christianity is very young. Islam is very young. So are we to say that our great-great-great-grandparents were not good people because there was no Islam at that time? It doesn't matter how Christian you are or how Muslim you are. All of us in this room know the difference between right and wrong. I have children now. I have learned from my children. My children don't know anything about Islam. My children don't know anything about Christianity. But they know how to do wrong things. They know how to do good things. It wasn't religion that taught them that. All of us have it inside our hearts and our mind. What you're doing is good. What you're doing is bad. The Spirit of the Almighty is in all of us. Even those of us who have the spirit of the devil inside of us, there is still a good spirit inside of you that is saying, this is the devil talking. It's up to you which voice you decide to listen to. And be very, very careful what you're doing. Shaitan, the devil, is still a servant of God. Be very careful with what you're doing. He has a job to do. His job is to tempt you. His job is to show God, this person is not good. Is he not still showing God? Is he still not reporting to God that you're not good? So who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? God and the devil are having tea, discussing whether you're good or bad. You're busy killing people and doing all type of nonsense. So be smart in life. It is better to be good in life than to be bad.
May you live long, Your Majesty. From your speech, I feel encouraged because looking at the situation of Nigeria now, things are going the other way around, as our elders once planned this country. Sir, looking at the challenges of this country now, once you are a youth, you speak, you serve as a voice for the youth and to the youth and for the right purpose. It's either you are arrested, detained, or kidnapped. Because I have some of these incidences. I'm one of the activists in my state. And absolutely, things are going wrong. And the media, once you air anything against the government of the Dean, it seems impossible. They will call you for an interview, but they will not air it. Your opinion will not be aired to a certain extent, or they have to fine-tune it. And in most of the gatherings where some of the youth wants to come out for a peaceful protest against a particular policies that are meted on us, yet some of the politicians will do things the otherwise. And it's very hard to see youths now because the politicians have discovered that the youth are the backbone. And that is why they are penetrating us using two channels, religion and tribalism, because they believe that is the only voice they can get through us. Now, the challenge is we are ready for peace in this country under a peaceful dialogue for a peaceful revolution. But the country at large have poisoned some of the youth. Sir, what are the possible ways we can go about this? Because before a northern youth will talk to a southern youth, there is this mentality, he's Hausa, he's Fulani, he's Muslim. Absolutely, maybe he will not be a Christian. And the same will be applied, he's a Christian from the south. How do we start all over? The challenges is there is a breach of communication. How do we go about it to make sure that Nigeria continues to unite and a peaceful revolution comes that will become fruitful to ourselves and other nations will respect the initial integrity as well as the prosperity Nigeria had before. Thank you, Your Majesty.
God bless you. Now, that word activism, unfortunately, with youth comes vibrance, comes energy. Your elders are always going to be your elders. It doesn't matter what. We are living in Africa. How you've just spoken now is very respectful, is very beautiful. But unfortunately, on the day that you're going for your activism, your voice will be 10 times louder than this. You will be angry. You will be raising your shoulder and looking with your eyes wide. The elders will run away from you. They will tag you as a troublemaker. If you want to get your message across to the elders, you have to be calm. It's not going to happen in one day. Nigeria is not going to change overnight. We have damaged this nation over decades. It's going to take some time before we correct the problems that we have. But certainly one of the ways that you can do that is by looking for good representatives. I've said this before. I offer myself. You will hardly hear people talking the way I've spoken to you today. You youths, stand behind me. Demand government hears from the Dein of Agbor. I guarantee you there's no government official that can buy me. I'm not interested in money. I'm not interested in power. What I'm interested in is how do we save this planet from destruction. I believe in something that God told all of us. He does not give to a man or a woman what they cannot bear. I believe that God has put on this planet enough for every man, woman, and child to be okay. At least I have the knowledge that there are some people in this world that are so rich that they can feed the entire world. That means that God has provided. God has provided. I think it is the owner of Google's wife who just recently decided to give half of her wealth, almost $15 billion, away to charity. We have rich people in this country that can solve these problems of this nation. I will say again, if you are wealthy, if you are rich, and you're seeing people suffering about you and around you, and you keep quiet, there's something wrong with you. I've been here in this country for 19 years now. I came back in 2000, and I can tell you that every time I travel, it still burns me when I look out from my car and I see small children playing in the dirt with dirty knicker, dirty pants. It still pains the hell out of me when I look and I see tin roofs and I see dilapidated living quarters of the people. While some of us are rolling around in not one G-Wagon self, maybe 3 or 4 G-Wagon. Ferrari. Where's the road to drive Ferrari? Let's get our priorities in order. I'm a king. I don't drive big cars because I want to show off. As a monarch, I drive these cars that I drive because I have a people to represent. Our politicians don't need those big cars. My wealth, the money I have, is even my people come and buy my cars for me. Or I do my own personal work. I do my own personal jobs to make my money. Not I will take your money. Because the politicians do not have money of their own. Those constituency projects, they belong to you. I cannot take public funds and enrich myself and start driving around in big cars. That's not fair to the people. It's not fair to the people at all. You must look for good leaders and stand by them. Let me tell you the truth. All this your placards that you're carrying and your protests, they mean nothing. There's no provision of the law that provides for protest in such fashion. If you want your politicians to respect you, start voting against them. Come out openly. We all are in a world now, everybody carries phones. Come out openly. Next elections, everybody have their phone in their hand, go to the polling booth and record. Under such scrutiny, there will be less likelihood of doing mago-mago. As I said, it's not going to change overnight. Once again, every police officer in this country, every government official in this country, every army officer in this country has family. Some of them are here right now. What stops you from talking to your family member? Like, I saw you on TV today beating the hell out of one student. Is there anything wrong with you? So, Ross, if that was me, that's how you would have beaten me? He will feel shame. Are you telling me that the mother of the soldier that carries the butt of a gun and breaks this small girl's head here, are you telling me if his mother cries and holds his shirt and say, you did this to this small girl, do you think he will go to his post the following day and act in the same way? Do you think so? Of course he will not. So we need to be our brother and our sister's keeper. We need to talk out for what we see that is wrong. We cannot keep quiet when things are going wrong, or we become complacent. We become part of the problem. we all have a responsibility and a duty to this entity that we have decided to create called Nigeria. This is our lot. This is what we have. I've tried to explain it to many of the rich people. If Nigeria destroys today, there will be no more Dangote. If Nigeria goes into civil war today, Dangote will no longer be the richest African in the world. Within 1 week, he will lose at least 70% of his wealth will go. Same thing on Tedola. My own son, Jimovier, Zenith Bank. Which Zenith Bank will he be doing again? There will be no Zenith Bank. Maybe he will have to rely on Zenith Bank in Ghana or elsewhere. But it won't be the same again, because the great nation that was Nigeria, where he made his name and his power from, will no longer be there. So Ghanaians might not respect him in the same way, and might not respect the brand that is Nigeria in the same way. So we all have a stake in today's Nigeria. We all have to make sure that this country continues to survive. And the way that we're going to do it is not by being antagonistic to each other. Many of the politicians know me in this country. I'm not a buyover. I'm not a pushover. I don't fear people. I don't fear things. I fear the Almighty God. I tell politicians the truth. I tell politicians my mind. If I call you my friend, I must tell you the truth. If I care about you, I must tell you where you're going wrong. That is true love. If I bring you close to me and I find out that you only tell me good things, me and you will not be friends for very long. Same thing I expect of my people, I expect of my chiefs. I tell them all the time, if I've done something wrong, you must tell me. Just because I'm a king does not mean that I cannot make my own mistakes. And that's what my people are there for. You don't have to tell somebody disrespectfully that they've done something wrong. You can tell them in a nice fashion that they've done something wrong. Okay? So sometimes it is approach that is our problem, especially with the youth. Approach can be the problem. Stop allowing yourself to be bought very cheaply. We worship money too much in this country, and it is a very big problem for us. Any further questions?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Your Majesty. In my opinion, as a young adult, I have this message, and I feel this is the right platform for it to get to leaders, to probably the governors and our presidents. If they could be more sensitive in their speech making, I think it would go a long way in reducing the tensions of war. In most situations, the tribal issues, if the presidents and leaders could be a bit more sensitive while making their speech, like you just did today, everybody got so relaxed about tribal and religious situations. If they could be a bit more sensitive while communicating, especially tribe issues, it's really going a long way to resolve war, any war. Thank you very much, sir.
I believe that to be 100% truthful and correct. All of us need to be more sensitive in the way that we talk. Don't get me wrong, but I can be very hot. Everybody has the ability to be very hot. But at the end of the day, when you are hot, people don't listen. The only thing that you can do is make the other person to be hot. And two hot people can never solve a problem. So thank you for bringing that up. It is very, very important for those who are calling themselves our leaders to act how a leader is expected to act. If you are hot, in fact, somebody sent me something very interesting on YouTube just last night, where a gentleman shook 2 bottles of Coke, and he immediately opened one. And of course, we all know what will happen. The contents flew out, And he said this is the difference between talking when you're angry and talking when you're calm. If you talk when you're angry, you talk when you're passionate, it doesn't even have to be angry. When you're being passionate, sometimes you are prone to say some things that you might regret later. So better at that point, walk away. We're all guilty of it, both great and small. Okay? My chief says there are some pregnant women here. Are there any pregnant women here? So then those of them who are pregnant should also feel that you can sit down and relax if you cannot stand too long. I don't want you to come and give birth here. Of course, if you want to give birth here, I don't mind, but we don't have the doctors. I wouldn't mind your child knowing that he was born in the palace. But whether we have the speciality for it, I'm not too sure. Equally, anybody who has bad leg or cannot stand for long, you're very, very welcome to sit down. So, any other questions? Any more statements? I haven't heard anything from the women. I must say, you young ladies, I know that unfortunately we live in a very male chauvinistic society. But the truth is that you women are the backbone of every and all societies on this planet. For anybody to grow up knowing fully well that you were brought up by a woman, you were breastfed by a woman, you were given birth to by a woman, your earliest education was by a woman, your being taken to school was not by your dad, it was by a woman. When you were sick, when you cried, it was not your father that came to come and console you. It was your mother, it was a woman. For us to grow up into adults and then suddenly say, women, step back, women, don't talk, I think is the most insultive thing that men have done to women on this planet. And I can guarantee you, and I tell you now, that the majority of problems that we have on this planet today is because of men's treatment of women. If God, in his wisdom, chose that Muhammad, may his name be respected, Christ, may his name be respected, Moses, the tallest man in the world, the richest man in the world, the fastest man in the world, what do we all have in common? We are all born of woman. Do you think God is a fool? So, if God chose to respect women in such a way, do you think it will go well for us that we who are less than God have chosen to treat women less than how God has provided that women be treated? It can never be. It can never be. So you women, know that God has given you a special place on this planet. I know you are not treated like that by us men. It is a mistake that we men make. But when you are given the opportunity to, you must speak up. You must speak up. So once again, do you women here now, you young ladies, do you have anything to say? Do you have any questions to ask? I want a young nation of brave people. I want a young nation of courageous men and women. If you have nothing to say, that is absolutely fine. She obviously does, but she's looking to see if anybody will go first. Look, in life, when you are presented an opportunity, take it with both hands. You do not have a leader like me that will offer this type of opportunity. So when you're offered it, talk up. If you don't talk up, you might regret it later. Any leader that is not willing to do what I'm doing now and ask you any questions, and take those questions and honestly answer them in the best way you can. I cannot have answers for everything. Those of them that I don't have an answer for, I will honestly tell you, I don't know. But I do know that if we work together, we'll produce an answer. That I do know. If we work together, we can solve any problem that this planet can throw at us. If we work together, I believe that strongly. So, last chance, you young girls. Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Where's the microphone, please?
Where's the mic?
Thank you.
Thank you for recognizing us, the females here. I want to just say that if the country can work further, there was a statement the president made one time that got we the female folks angry when he said the women is for the kitchen and for the other rooms.
Another room.
Basically, that's the mentality of most Nigerians. They don't see women more than just being a housewife or anything. So I think if the government can work on that issue, it will go a long way in helping us, the female folks. And I would also use this opportunity to thank you for receiving our awards during our quiz competition. We say thank you, Your Majesty, and may God continually bless you. And we also have a little request, if you can have a photo.
That's what we're going to do.
That's what ladies like. That's what they like.
So, certainly, as I just mentioned to you, unfortunately, the majority of men is not just here in Nigeria, it's the world over. We do have a very, very wrong way of treating our women. You know, just recently in the United States of America, they just passed some abortion laws. I don't completely agree with it. It's their constituency, it's their government. But personally, before you're going to pass abortion laws, I think that the committee should be made up of at least 70% women, because it's women that it directly affects. Personally, for me, I have a great deal of respect for women. I always have, I always will. Because my mother is a woman. I have sisters who are older than me that are women. I have friends that are women. It is a woman that has given me the greatest joy in my life, my children. One of my children will one day be a grown-up woman. And I can guarantee you that I am not going to bring up my wife at her young age now to ever allow any man to talk to her disrespectfully. My daughter, the same thing. Anybody who wants to marry my daughter has to know very, very well, you put a hand on my daughter, she will be a black belt. What she will do to you, I will pat her on the back and tell her well done. And then I'll So, for me, let us respect each other. As I said, the greatest law God has given us, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Like I said, look for good leaders and stand by them. Stand by somebody who will actually fight for your well-being and for your peace. By the time you youths stand together, and every time government comes to speak to you, say, no, we want to hear from the Day of Agbor. No, we want to hear from the Day of Agbor. No, we want to hear from the Day of Agbor. By the time the youths in the country start to sing that, they will have no option than to come and see me. And when they come and see me, believe me, I won't be talking on behalf of those who are just in power and have money. I'll be talking on everybody's behalf. Because that is the only way that we will get out of this quagmire. everybody needs to be treated fairly. So thank you very, very much. Let us go and have this group photograph.